Hello everyone, I'm John Furrier here with theCUBE, your host with Scott Hebner, our industry analyst from theCUBE Research. We're here at AWS DC Summit in Washington, DC. We've been covering public sector for over a decade and have watched the change and the transformation as public-private partnerships continue to come together and be more synergistic, but the big story is obviously the impact of AI and all the public services, the different agencies and all the services go on in public and private. Mia Jordan, who's an industry advisor in transformation for Salesforce. Mia, great to have you on theCUBE.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on. I've been watching Amazon, win the CIA deal, then they come in, then the cloud becomes a thing.
Yes.
Go forward a decade, now we're in an even bigger transformation. The cultural change happening here is I've never seen at this level of collision in a good way.
Oh my
The
goodness.
propensity for innovation is coming together, which will spawn a lot of serendipity, a lot of new things.
Yes.
You're seeing new companies enter, you're seeing new methods, agents are upon us, of which Salesforce is a big part of.
Yes.
What's your view of the big picture? Kind of what's happened in the past 6 months, what's happening in the industry? Share your thoughts.
Sure. Well, the last 6 months, I think, we've been on a campaign, a tour, of, so to speak, of really educating our customers about what Agentforce is, what it means to them. We're in over 22 CFO Act agencies across the federal civilian government, and many of who have Salesforce instances. And so talking with them about how to leverage agents in the flow of work, what Agentforce means in terms of accelerating how they deliver the mission has been, it's been a journey, right? It is, we all know technology is moving at the speed of light right now. And so we're excited to be here today. So I have a huge announcement, which is we have achieved FedRAMP High. And we are thrilled across several of our products. GovCloud is FedRAMP High. We now are getting ready to introduce Marketing Cloud to this government audience at FedRAMP High, and so many other products.
Explain FedRAMP High. What's the impact for Salesforce and the customers in public sector?
So it is an accreditation status. So there is low, moderate, and high. What high means is that our customers that work up to the secret level can process their workloads, their workflows on our platform. We are now certified to take on the mission of government and to build intelligently, or help our customers build intelligently.
Scope the Salesforce impact. It's become very much in this administration, we've been seeing a lot of focus on the agencies, a lot of people curious about all the money being spent, and it's come out in the press that Salesforce is actually doing really well in public sector, and we know agents are coming. We've been covering it on SiliconANGLE and theCUBE, and Scott is one of our lead analysts on AI. Agents are going to make things better as you have more complex, siloed, or kind of modern legacy systems.
Yes.
AI allows for an abstraction.
Oh yes.
This is a huge opportunity for Salesforce. So scope kind of where you guys are now. You got this FedRAMP High check, more business coming. How big is the business, and how does all this AI trends favor you guys?
So our public sector business, to include Canada, is $1 billion business. But the scope of which, and why there's so much excitement now around this administration and its point of view on AI, and in general on government and government's responsibility to its constituents, is really based on being more productive. We hear the term efficiency, right? We know about DOGE, right? The E being efficient. But what agents are bringing to the table, very different than anything else, is the ability for agents to reason. Agentforce is built on the Atlas reasoning engine, so we're not just talking about simple tasks, we're also talking about complex tasks, right? The real complexity around grant approvals, managing KPIs once a loan is dispersed, all those sorts of things that people have been involved in, and it's been an intense amount of both manual work, but also a lot of brain power, right? That's required to do that.
So, can you just bring us through a little bit of the big challenges that these public sector organizations face when they're bringing in new technologies, and then compare that to maybe a year from now as agents start to take over.
Oh goodness.
And including, if you think about it, you're composing agents from different sources.
That's right.
They could be on different clouds. They can be in different databases.
Across clouds, yes.
Right, and some of them are even going to start to work autonomously.
Yes.
It changes the game, doesn't it? And so how does FedRAMP, I mean, what are the considerations and how's that all going to change over time?
You know, the FedRAMP authorization, first and foremost, is giving the government a sense of confidence, right? That we have met the mandate, that now takes away the worry of the security, the privacy, the data concerns, but more now about not the what of the technology, worrying about the infrastructure and what's under the hood, but now they get to focus on the how. Right? How do they leverage the platform to be able to go faster, to be able to get insights in the flow of work? In terms of culture, I mean, the tech is the easy part if you ask me. You know, but the culture of government, I think there's going to be a bit of a flattening of government when you start thinking about, we're going to get out of our silos. I don't know if you gentlemen know, but I'm a former federal CIO. So I know a little bit.
You don't like silos.
Oh no, I don't.
Or black boxes.
Or black boxes. And so what I see Agentforce doing, to your point, about working across silos, both organizationally, but also data silos, I think it's going to be a game changer. It is really, AI, I think is going to force all of us to work differently, to work more collaboratively, to come to an understanding that insights data has to be available in order to gain insights. And so I'm really excited about it.
Do you see the public sector organizations, you know, your ex-CIO colleagues, are they viewing these agents as essentially digital federal workers that they're going to pair up with humans?
Not yet.
Not yet?
And so we call it digital labor. I think there's still some translation around that. You know, I said this a moment ago, but I'm going to say it again. You know, Salesforce and its platform, we've been in this game over a decade. We are talking about delivering AI and agents in the flow of work. That means the case and the context of the case that you're working on, that's what that agent is providing, that either that data from Data Cloud, or it is making a recommendation based on your policy, so it's governed, right? But also your processes. And so that's the part that I think we're still translating.
You know, what's interesting, Mia, is that the labor word and workforce with agents is a huge debate, but it's very nuanced, but it's important because it's still being defined. We debate this all the time on theCUBE. Labor to me is like a financial statement on a labor cost. Workforce also implies worker. Now, agents do half a task, maybe. The human does maybe half, or maybe do all the tasks. So I think it's very kind of not yet clear because it may not be a worker as a person.
Right. But you govern it as so.
I mean, the humans are driving AI. They're driving the car. It's like a Ferrari. Why not go fast if you want to, but if they augment that. So this whole notion of the steps and process, you know, all that kind of aside, because that's going to evolve, that's kind of not in the mainstream yet. So how do you get people to cross the bridge? Because like, most people like either have two reactions. I hate AI because it's going to either kill my job or it's going to take over the world, and other things. Or I love AI because it's so awesome and productivity's great. I don't got to do all those mundane grunt work tasks.
Superpowers.
Superpowers, I make more money, more productivity, check, check. So there's two camps. How do you get people together? What's the cultural secret? Because this is a change management opportunity and a problem at the same time.
Yeah, it's definitely organizational change management. You know, I'd like to reflect on Salesforce and that it doesn't just build its products, but we actually use our own products, surprise. You know, the way in which we have embedded AI into the platform, we've also embedded it into the way in which we work. And so that, I think, is where government is going to have to turn the corner, where AI is not this thing that is only used by a few, but it is going to be all of the tools that they use that they will be able to see that are integrated, and where you're able to use that digital labor as a digital assistant, where it's proactively prompting you, reminding you, giving you recommendations. I think, you know, we talk about upskilling a lot, but upskilling isn't an event. It's the culture, and so the culture of government is really going to have to shift, I think, quite dramatically in terms of being able to use AI tools the way that they're intended.
And interesting enough, on the AI, you watch all these memes and all these self-help TikToks. high performers are always learners.
Yes,
And if you look at AI, one of the trends we hear from management is, got to build the muscle.
Yes.
First, use it.
Yes.
The winners are using it, like
Yes.
you mentioned Salesforce.
Yes.
Amazon, we talked to the leaders there. They're mandating,
Yes.
the memos come out,
Yes.
use AI, not to like replace anything, but to build the muscle because of your always learning, you're first of all more productive. What's your thoughts on that? Because I think the learning, you kind of hit on that with the whole piece of it.
Well, I'll speak to the culture of Salesforce. When Agentforce launched, there was a leadership meeting in San Francisco where 600 to 700 leaders across the world came in person and had to learn how to design and deploy an agent right there in the room and get up and present on it. That is really critical. It starts from the top down. Technology adoption is a top down mandate, to be quite honest. And I think if you see more of that, whether it's in government, whether or not it's in business, small or large, I think you'll see a more, people more inclined to lean in to say, oh, how do I use AI in Slack to summarize a channel? Or how do I use AI in my workflow to tell me, have I checked all the boxes? Have I considered every aspect of this customer's application to get this loan? That's helpful. That's transformational, quite frankly. And more than anything, it helps you be more productive.
What advice would you give people, because people want to learn the playbook. How do I transform? It's not just a memo, obviously memos are great, top-down orders, but how do people get there? What's your advice for folks to infuse AI? Because everyone's asking the question, how can AI help my business or my situation?
It is ultimately by using platforms that have AI embedded in them, not defaulting to more swivel chair applications, right? That take you out of the flow of work, but allow you to stay in the business process that you're in. Einstein is a great example. It's a product that we've had. You know, Einstein is in Slack, where you can get summaries, you can create your PowerPoint presentations all in a channel based on the context of the conversation that's happened in the channel. You know, you have to start using it in order to get comfortable with it. I don't think it's as intimidating as you think.
Your CEO did an interview with our colleagues Dave Vellante and George Gilbert and Mark Benioff.
Yes.
And I love that he made a comment about he'll be the last CEO.
I was going to talk about that.
At Salesforce that's actually going to manage only a human workforce.
That's right.
And I think that complements a lot of what I've been hearing in the public, in the private sector about targeting the labor spend, not the IT spend. So the question is, as you start to build these private-public partnerships, you know, this is an opportunity for the government to think the same way.
Oh, for sure. You know, one of the things that I would like, if I were queen for a day, right, I would, where I would mandate, you know, all of the CXOs in the technology space, but also the CXOs on the business and program side of government, is to really understand, and I'll use Salesforce and AWS as an example, we're not just partners, we're also each other's customers. I think there's something to be learned from that while AWS, quite frankly, could build a CRM, they chose to buy one, right? They're making smart investments into other technologies. Why? Because they don't have to build it. It doesn't make sense to build it. I think understanding the partnership, understanding that, you know, AWS is the infrastructure of Salesforce. How does it work together? What can I leverage between the two is where we really need to close the gap. And I think you're going to find that across the entire partner ecosystem, where we're all plugging into each other via APIs, via architectures, you know, all of those things really, really matter and are evolving.
What's great is the tooling's becoming great, the integration is easier, the data formats are now with Iceberg open tables, a lot more, that plumbing is kind of being managed away, thank God, finally.
Oh my goodness, yes. There's no need to DIY your AI, right, at this point, but you do want to make investments into platforms and infrastructures that, one, are constantly evolving, two, which are, you know, are they plugging into the things that I already own, is so important for government to not keep adding more and more to its stack.
Well, Mia, Salesforce is lucky to have you. You're a brilliant leader. Wish we could be an advisor to theCUBE, because we could love to go another hour on this. Final question to wrap up. What's your vision for this industry we're in now? Because public-private partnerships are happening. AI is a great opportunity.
Sure.
What do you see happening over the next year or so as this starts to roll out, as multi-step agents, reasoning and inference are booming,
yes.
more token required, bigger systems are being deployed, more horsepower, more supercomputing for the masses is coming.
Sure.
It's democratizing, we're all going to have a supercomputer in our hand even sooner than we think. What's your vision?
My vision is that first and foremost, I think we're going to see a more concerted effort to help government really break down the silos in their organizations to fully leverage the power and intelligence of AI. I think then we'll start seeing a real shift towards government being reactive and much more proactive. You know, there have been some conversations that I've been in that people say, well, you know, I don't know that I want government, that I trust government with my data. Well, you know, we offer our data to private institutions all the time and we trust them with it. We get ads that's based on our preferences.
Yeah.
I do think that there is some parity that is going to come where people will either be able to opt in or opt out to be able to benefit from that parity. And that's what I think is going to be most exciting, where it's not a displeasure to work with government agencies, but it becomes that it becomes a better experience.
And also there's an in-migration of new talent coming in.
Oh my goodness,
I mean, this is a huge deal. I mean, the old guard, lawyers, now you got tech enthusiasts, we're tech native now.
Yes, we are.
A new generation is coming up on us. Quick comment on that.
I think the tech leadership is going to help us accelerate by leaps and bounds, because in many of these tech companies, you see that the leadership in those companies all have some technology background. They are digital natives in many cases, but they are also digital leaders. And I think that is ultimately one of the, if I may say, one of the core skills that may have been missing, right? And I think it's going to take us further.
Well, I would be so excited, Scott, if we were having conversations in a year or so more around product-led growth services in the government. I mean, that's a tech conversation we have. This is kind of where it's going. This is big time.
It all starts with your data, right?
That's right.
The ability to take all that set of capabilities the government can offer, and the more they can, like you said, hundreds of CIOs, I mean
there's no product managers in government. We need product managers, we need product-led growth. Services that are product-led.
You know, the understanding of how the constituent needs services across government and how to meet them where they are, how you make recommendations like your credit card company says, hey, you're eligible for a new interest rate with this credit card, transfer your balance. You know, I think constituents want the same experience. Businesses want that same experience as well.
Mia, thank you for spending the time with us here in theCUBE. Wish we had more time. Fabulous conversation. Transformation's upon us, a new generation. The integration of services, AI is powered by the data. That's getting solved. AWS, Salesforce, all making it happen. I'm John Furrier, Scott Hebner here at theCUBE, doing our best to share that data with you. Thanks for watching.